Before coming to Missoula and learning about Homeword, I had spent a lot of my 20s and early 30s in a sort of itinerant lifestyle, working mostly for nonprofits, making ends meet, but never having enough to save that I did any financial planning to speak of. And once I moved here, I had a job that gave me just a little bit of free board, and I realized it was time to get my act together. I heard about Homeword and their financial planning courses, and I said, that's where I need to go. And so the fall of 2018 was my first interaction with Homeword when I came to the financial skill building class. And I thought to myself, I am gonna hate this. I hate thinking about money. I never have enough, but I need to do this. It's like eating my vegetables. And so I showed up 3 weeknights in a row, 3 hours of class. I was like, there's no way this is gonna be engaging or interesting to me, and it's material that I don't want to think about, so I'm just gonna force myself. And it turned out to be so wonderfully delivered by the staff at Homeword, and I left with a feeling of hope and empowerment. Maybe it's not too late to get my act together. Maybe I can have prosperity in this lifetime. I just had assumed that that was not an option for me. And so I had my individual counseling sessions after the class, made a plan with what I had. I eliminated my debt. I got much better financial hygiene about the choices I was making. My instructors will be sad to know I don't use a perfect budget every month, but I overall have much better financial health. And that set me up perfectly 2 summers later to take the homebuyer education class, because again, I had just assumed this particular financial goal was out of my reach. But because of the hope that I'd gotten from Homeword before, I said, this is the place where I want to learn this. I don't want to just Google it. I want someone to help me with the structure and support to really gain these skills and put them into practice in my life. And so again, 3 weeknights in a row, I thought, this is going to be terrible. I don't like thinking about this. It's on Zoom because of the pandemic. And then once again, I was blown away by the practicality of the curriculum, the applicability to my life, the baby steps that I could take right then to kind of chip away at this very big goal. It turned out that the Missoula housing market was tight enough for the next year that I didn't actually purchase a home right after I took the class. However, I was able to purchase a home the following summer. And so now here I am as a law student living in my first home, able to come home from school every day and study under a roof of my own, to not worry about, is my private landlord going to make a different decision next month that requires me to move in the middle of the semester? Am I going to have to worry about the challenges of having roommates when really my priority needs to be on school right now? I can just go home to the house that's mine and build equity while I'm in school. I would not be here without Homeword, and I get a little emotional when I think about it, because it has been such a game changer in my life to get comfortable with these challenging topics that in my youth were not talked about in a way that gave me the skills I needed. And then to, attend college and have friends who were suddenly buying homes in their 20s, and I just didn't understand how, because I was living a much more paycheck to paycheck existence. I didn't know how you could save for a down payment. It didn't make sense to me, so I just gave up on it. It wasn't until I interacted with Homeword and started to get these skills that I thought, oh, this is for me too. I can also build this prosperity for myself, and have the things that I need and want, and to be comfortable. It's just really inspiring to think about where I am now versus where I was when I first came to that class on a very cold and stormy weeknight in fall of 2018. Having the skills from Homeword in my back pocket really set me up to respond to the pandemic in ways that allowed me to continue to build my financial resources during the pandemic, when all of a sudden everything was so confusing and so uncertain, I knew that I had already started building savings, and I knew that if something crazy happened with my job or I wasn't able to work, that I had something set aside, which was something I had never been able to say before in my life. And so there was that little bit of safety net, but it also made me a lot more conscious as the pandemic continued of, okay, I'm not traveling so much right now, I'm not going out at all. How do I want to allocate these funds that I'm not spending in that way to kind of continue to build those financial savings, which was huge. And then I also I reached out for a financial tune-up to revisit my budget with my one-on-one financial skill building counselor. And that conversation was great because I felt like I was on a good track, but I needed more ideas. And she was able to dig into the spreadsheets with me and say, okay, here are some other things you could do with this money that you're saving right now. Because for so long, we didn't know what was happening week to week or month to month. And it really allowed me to build on the traction that I had already gained, so that now in 2022, I am a homeowner, and I am building wealth in a different way than I can actually say that I'm building wealth at all, which I wasn't doing prior to coming to Homeword. And it allowed me the peace of mind during the pandemic. It's not like I had a massive nest egg set aside, but I knew that I had shown that I had the resilience and the ability to actually respond to challenging situations, because Homeward showed me I could do that financially, and B, that I already had some momentum in the right direction, so that when this crazy life-changing event happened, I could use that not to my advantage, but could make smart choices during that time. I'm able to take big swings in my life and go after big challenges now because of the work that I did with Homeward. I would not be in law school or a homeowner if I hadn't taken the courses with Homeward. I can say that with full confidence. I plan to use my legal career to give back to the Missoula community. So it's really this kind of beautiful full circle moment for me to be able to look at where I was when I moved to this town in 2018, thinking that these goals were never achievable for me, to now be able to say, oh, in fact, I'm taking a break from the workforce and investing in myself so that I can give back to the community. Homeward has made all of that possible.